My name is Cindy Slimp, CINDY-SLIMP, and I am running for Missouri House District 133 as a Democrat.
Okay. What issue is most important to you as we head into November?
The same issue that got me running in the first place, and that is access to equitable health care. Across the country and desperately in the state of Missouri, people need health care, and I'm so thankful that we have decided to expand Medicaid, and I hope that we take full advantage of having done that.
What do you believe we are doing wrong right now? And what will you do differently if you win?
I think a lot of our legislators aren't paying attention to what people want and supporting the will of the people and listening to what they need in their communities individually. Across the state, different communities have different levels of what kind of support that they need, and I think that a lot of that comes in paying attention to what people ask for, and listening as we've passed these massive ballot initiatives back in 2018 that show that we really support a lot of progressive issues, and I think that we should, as legislators, elected officials, be paying attention to how people are voting on those issues.
Okay. What do you believe is most important to the district?
Equitable education, healthcare, access to their legislators. Back in 18, when I was able to knock on doors and talk to people, the number 2 issues that they spoke of were healthcare and education, and we have repeatedly cut education funding year after year. And our kids, they're our future. We've got to make sure that we give them what we have promised, and that's a quality education.
What do you believe is top of mind for voters right now, economy, race, or COVID-19, and which is the biggest concern, and what will you do to address those?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I think it really depends on who you speak with. Obviously, we have massive race inequality issues in the state of Missouri, and throughout the country. Our economy has been crushed, absolutely crippled by. It was already in bad condition due to tax cuts that had been put in place in the state of Missouri, but also, as a result of COVID-19. There's a lot of families that are hurting that still haven't received any kind of a stimulus package that a lot of other families received. There's a lot of people still unemployed. And the third issue was, what did you say?
Economy, race, or COVID-19.
Oh, COVID-19, going back to that. I wish that our government had been a little more forthcoming in a mask mandate, like a statewide mask mandate, and I'm glad that the city has chosen to do that, and I believe that it's really helped out our community in order to slow the spread. So, I think they're all equally important, and I can't really pick one.
How would you reassure voters that you would fight for what they want?
I would be available to them. My favorite thing to do, and I really miss it this time around, I ran back in 18 also for the same House seat. And back then I was able to knock on doors and talk to people and identify with what issues they were specifically concerned about and what they need for their families and their communities. So I think that the most important thing that I can do is listen and be available and do what they elected me to do when elected.
All right. Why run for office?
I started paying a lot of attention to local government and realizing how much more impactful our state legislature was and our city and county governments were, how much more impactful they are on our lives than federal, who's president, so on, what goes on in the Senate and the state house or the Congress. And in paying attention to these things and realizing how much I'm not seeing that's happening in our state is really kind of what pushed me to decide to go ahead and run for office. I've always paid attention, and I've always, cared about people's needs and known that we should be looking out for people above corporations and big money donors. And I figured, I'm not going to be president, but I can run for state representative, and I can make a difference for my community.